Hello creatives, you're welcome to this video tutorial. This is David Gladness, and on this particular video I'm going to be talking about design balancing. Okay, and as a Pixellab user, the best way to balance your design is by using the grid line. All right, so I would advise this video is in sort of a series. So if you have not gone through the episode 1 and episode 2, do well to go through it to know how we got to this point. So on this particular episode on exploring the Pixellab, I'm going to be teaching you on how you can balance your design by making use of the Pixellab grid line. Now, what is the Pixellab grid line? I have explained this in the previous episode. This is what the grid line is. Okay, this is what the grid line is. Now, this thing is not just there alone. This particular grid line is not just there alone. It has something to do with your design. Okay, you have to like balance it works with balancing. So I'm going to be showing you on how you can make use of it to balance up your design project. Okay, so stay tuned to the end of this video to learn how to use the grid line to beautify your work the more. All right, so if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, first of all, do well to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification icon so that whenever I upload new video tutorials, you will always get notified. However, you can check the description box and join my YouTube community on WhatsApp so that whenever I upload new videos directly from the group, you will be notified. Okay, now first of all, I'm going to return my design page to the default size. We are still going to come back to that. Now let me change my background color to a black color so that you can see what I'm doing properly. Now this is what the grid line is, as I have explained earlier. Now let me show you the first thing, the role of a grid line. Okay, the role of a grid line is to help you balance your design. Under the principle of graphic designing, we have what we call balancing, we call alignment and balancing. All right, so the grid line helps you to align your design project and balance them properly, and there are ways you can actually set it up. Now we have after activating your grid line, this is what you press to activate or deactivate your grid line, and then we have the magnet icon. You can see this. Now let me bring in, for example, I bring in a shape or whatever I want to bring in. If you can see, if I'm moving it up and down, I will not be able to it's not going to show anything, any emphasis, except I'm using my eyes. But then if I should activate this magnet icon, it's going to start attracting it. You can see that it's attracting my shape. So I can easily make use of the shape. This come in handy. Let's say I want to use the BZ2 or I want to use something. You can see that, right? So the grid line can help me out in that aspect. So let's say I want to position this particular shape right here. I can easily click on edit, and then I'll make use of my grid line to position it the way I want it to be without stress. I can easily make use of my grid line to do that. All right, so I hope you can see what I'm doing properly. So the grid line comes in handy when it comes to things like this. So it can easily be on the same line without stress. Both are on the same line. So the grid line helps you to balance your work properly. You can see them, they are on the same line. It helps to balance your work and your design projects properly. So that is it. You can see that. So that is the first role of a grid line. Now there is a way you can actually calculate your grid line, but before we proceed with that, first of all, let me show you other things you can do with your grid line, how you can remove or add more to your grid line. First of all, let me show you what you can see this right here. If I should tap on this grid line, you can see this particular button beside the magnet icon, this particular one. When you click on it, you see this first one you're seeing right here is where you can add a vertical line. Okay, how you can add a vertical line, you can see a new one has been added. So whenever I tap on it, new line will be added to it automatically. I hope you can see that. So it can automatically add a new line. And this one you are seeing right here is to add an horizontal line. You can see that, right? So it will automatically add new horizontal lines. It can automatically add to my horizontal lines. So that is how it works. And this one you're seeing right here is to cancel either vertical or horizontal lines. As long as I'm tapping on a vertical line, it's going to help me cancel them. You can see that it's going to cancel, and it will keep canceling till it's done canceling all the lines. You can see that it is used to cancel either vertical or horizontal lines. And then we have this particular one you are seeing right here. This is where you position your grid line. Okay, if I want it to be at the middle, the line I'm tapping on, I want this line to be at the middle, I'll just put it on 50%. If I want to add an horizontal line, maybe the line is here, then I want to move it to the middle. I can easily, because the position is 100%, right? 100%. So I can easily position this to be on 50, that is, it is going to be at the middle. You can see that. So I can decide to add more and then position to wherever I want it to be. Now I'll be showing you on how you can actually calculate, but before we proceed, let me show you one more function. You can see this right here, this last one right here. This is where you like automatically you use the number. Okay, you select the type of how many number. The default one is 3 lines, okay, 3 vertical and 3 horizontal lines. You can see that, but then you can also multiply it. Instead of you adding lines by line, like adding it, you can easily tap on this thing you are seeing right here. Then when you tap on it, maybe you now make use of let's say we want to use 30 let's say we want to use 20 line or 30, whatever number, and I want to use 20. You can see that number of horizontal is 20, number of vertical is also 20. I will just click on OK, and automatically you can see that we are having a lot of grid line right here. You can see that I'm having a lot of grid line. I can now use this for my logo design project, or maybe I want to make use of the Bezier tool or whatever. Don't worry, we are going to be explaining more on how you can use the Bezier tool like a pro. But then let us start from the scratch. So you can easily make use of this function to like numberize, like multiply your grid line. Okay, now let's go back to how you can calculate your grid line. I believe you have known all the functions and what all these things works for. So now let me quickly go back to the design project you saw earlier. Okay, so it is one of the designs I have made some times ago. Okay, it is one of the designs I have made a very long time ago, I think some months ago actually. Now this is just a very simple design, but then what makes this design look very beautiful is the fact that there is a form of balancing. That is what we call balancing. Now let me activate my grid line and let me calculate this to be 20 by 20 lines. Now there is everything on the design. You can see that there is balancing. Now let me explain how it works. Let me explain how you can actually go about calculating your grid line. Let me explain how you can calculate your grid line. First of all, I would like to like cancel all these lines. Okay, let me activate my grid line, then I'll cancel each of the lines. And then I'll start by working with this particular one. Now I believe you can see my screen properly. You see this line right here. You can see that where I am positioning it, all the elements I'm using did not exceed that particular line. They did not exceed this particular line you are seeing right here. All my design elements, including the logo, they are not exiting, like they are not passing that particular line. It's like when you are trying to write on a notebook. Okay, when you are trying to write on a notebook, then there is a margin, right? There is a margin that maybe like a English notebook. There is always this red line, and if you are writing, it will not exceed that. Your book is not your writings will not exceed that particular notebook. That is exactly how this works. Okay, so now let me show you how you can actually calculate this. First of all, when it depends on the type of design you are working on. Okay, the fact that I'm using this type of calculation for this particular design doesn't mean that you're going to use it for another design, but I always use this calculation when it comes to a design that have equal size with the width and the height. Okay, so this particular line, let's position it. Okay, I believe I use 10 by 10. Okay, so I'm going to click on this, which is the position I have explained earlier. So I'm just going to select 10. It's going to be on 10, and then I'll click on OK. You can see where it was positioned automatically. You can see where it was positioned automatically. Now I have automatically created a margin that whatever I want to design must not exceed that particular 10. It must not exceed the line 10, this particular line I have created, the grid line I have created. So that is why all the elements I am creating here is not exceeding this particular line. Is making my design aligned and balanced. Even the shape, you can see that it is not exceeding, it is not passing this particular line. Now I'm going to add another line, and then you see this particular line I'm adding. Now you know this one is on 10, right? The position is on 10, and remember the full position is 100. Now 100 minus 10, 100 minus 10 is going to be 90. Now it means this particular next line is going to be on 90. So let's move this to 90. Let's move this to 90. Then I'll click on OK. Now you can see that this particular one, my text, this particular text, the name and other things, this text at the top, you can see that they are not exiting this line as well. You can see that they are not exiting the line as well. Then I can decide to add another, this particular line right here. Now that means this one is going to be on 10, and the other one is going to be on 90 automatically. Okay, this one is going to be on 90, and as you can see, look at what I did there. I have automatically created a form of balancing for my grid line. So whatever I want to design must not exit these lines. Now I can decide to add another extra line. Okay, so I will just add one. Then this one is going to be on like 95, and I will add another one, and this one, this time around 95, 100 minus 95 is going to be 5. It's going to be 5. You can see that, right? That means whatever I want to design must not exit this particular line. It must not exit these two lines. That is why you can see that it's able to exit, like, at least this particular one is exiting. It passed this particular 10 and 10, but it is not reaching this 5. That is, I create a grid line to like a warning. This 10 is a warning, but then this particular 5, that is, it is the margin, the last bus stop. Now I can decide to add more. This one is going to be on 95, and then I'll add one again, and then this one is going to be 95 minus 100, which is going to be 5. And look at what I've been able to create. Now, whatever I want to design, these first lines, these ones you're seeing here, they must not exit this line. They can exit, but at worst, they must not pass this particular last line, which is serving as the last margin for me. Okay, so you can now decide to add one. Okay, you can decide to add one. That one is going to be on 50. Add another horizontal. That one as well going to be on 50 to serve as the center. That one is now going to be the centralized, helping you to balance your design properly. You can see that. So that is, I always implement this when I am designing. Now, as I've explained earlier, the fact that you are trying to design, the fact that I use this type of calculation for this particular grid line, it doesn't for this particular flyer doesn't mean I will use it for another flyer. I hope you understand. So always calculate your grid line so as to have what we call balancing. So I hope this video has been helpful so far, and you know about how to calculate your grid line. In the next episode, I'm going to be showing you on how you can actually make use of the Pixellab PLP. If you have watched the first episode and you also watched the second episode, I made mention that there is something we call PLP. So in the next episode, I don't want this particular episode to be too long. In the next episode, I am going to be showing you on what PLP, Pixellab PLP, what it works for, how you can use it, and what you can actually use it for as a graphic designer making use of Pixellab. Please, if you do not understand what I have explained so far, do want to drop in the comment section so that I'll be able to explain in the next episode properly. So thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video tutorial. I hope it has been helpful. Please note, if you have benefited from this video, give the video a thumbs up, and then do well to subscribe if you are yet to subscribe. See you on the next episode.